Gentlemen, and welcome to Boomer Live. Of course, we are back with yet another episode of talking about cricket and talking about everything which has happened today in IPL. Today we had two matches. It was a Super Sunday. Of course, we had we had Mumbai Indians take on the Kolkata Knight Riders, and of course, we had the Rajasthan Royals take on Gujarat Titans in an high octane clash. Last year's finalists, intense game of cricket. Once again, you have to say the two best teams collided heads against each other, and of course the last year's runners up came on top. It is the first time they're defeating Gujarat Titans had the upper hand over them throughout the last season, defeated them 3 times, but it's good to get one back. And it did not look throughout that game that they would get their one back, because Gujarat Titans had a phenomenal start with that new ball. Once again, Hardik Pandya and Mohammad Shami seaming and swinging it put most of the batters in trouble. So I have Sandeepani and Jaren with me. I'll start with Sandeepani. We'll talk about the Rajasthan versus Gujarat game to start off with. What a game of cricket, right? Once again, showing why, if you can take the game deep, if you're power hitters, it is going to be so important for you.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the way they came back, I mean, you said that Gujarat Titans had the upper hand over Rajasthan Royals for 3 games, and I think they had the upper hand over Rajasthan Royals for three and probably 75% of this game as well. They needed some 112 of the last 8 overs with all their recognized batters down in down back in the bench. Only Shimran Hetmeyer, Sanju Samson was there. But the way Sanju Samson hit those 3 sixes of Rashid Khan, that just set the tone and then had themselves believing once again that they could do it. And
Yeah,
then once again,
absolutely.
Shimran Hetmeyer, what a class act. He's turning out to be the best finisher of this IPL so far, because you
Mhm.
just look at the knocks that he has played so far. It's all been impactful, and he has added spice into that middle order that Rajasthan Royals are so dearly lacking. So it's a great win from the runners-up of last season, and I think this win will give them a lot of confidence. And for Gujarat Titans, I mean, we can say that the two games, the only they looked strong to win all the games that they have played so far. But the 2 games that they lost, it came down to the wire, and then in the last over itself, in the last time around, and this time around also they lost it pretty much in the last over itself. So I
Yeah,
mean, positive
absolutely.
still, I feel they'll be very happy with their performance and a strong contender to make the playoffs for sure.
Absolutely. But Jaren, we were also talking about this. Rashid Khan, who did not concede a boundary in 100 balls in PSL, just came in front of Sanju Samson. Sanju Samson just treated him like a schoolboy over there, just smashing possibly the world's best T20 bowler at this point. And to add to that, even in the last game when they played against Kolkata Knight Riders, even Venkatesh I went after him. Now in IPL, Rashid Khan is definitely having a different taste altogether. This is definitely what IPL stands for when you compare it to even PSL now.
Yeah, I mean, Sanjay Samson's always done well against Rashid Khan, isn't it? For some reason, it's just the fact that Rashid Khan probably if there's one batter that he doesn't want to face, it's Sanju Samson. And what we saw from him today was very gutsy batting. In the situation his team was, would have been very easy for him to get into the Devdutt particle shell. But he decided to ensure that it will not be the way it's going to be, and he did go after him. So, I mean, I was just pulling up the stats right here. Sanjay Samson's not got a very good strike rate against Rashid Khan, but he's got a very good average. He's got an average of 109, and that's where I think that's obviously reduced now after today's match a little bit. But before this, he was, or rather, it's not. It was discussed by Noor Ahmed today. So, which means his average is 109 at this point in time. A scary thing. It's not easy for you to bat so many deliveries against Rashid Khan and not be dismissed once. So, gutsy batting from Sanju Samson, and that's the reason why I think you're able to go after someone like Rashid Khan. And Rashid Khan did ball a lot of short deliveries. Lot of short deliveries. He was just, a lot of drag downs, and it just made it that much more easier for Sanjay Samson. I felt if he had balled a little bit more further at Samson's pads, it would have been not that easy for Samson to get him away with.
Absolutely. I think Kerala cricket freaks have gone mad in the comments. He's absolutely, giving all of his heart
Oh,
out
it
today.
was
He says
a it
Sanju
was
Chetan, Rashid Ikkene
it
Adichu
was a
Soopaki.
fanboy moment, wasn't it, for Sanjay
Yeah, he's
Samson?
like Rashid Hardik Pandya Mone Malayalam Kali Venda. Malayali bros para. Sheriana, I agree with you totally on that. Adichu Soopaki. Satyam
I
Parnaya
think
ഒന്നും
he
പറയാനില്ല.
used to speak in Malayalam. Yes.
അത്രേ ഉള്ളൂ. അടിച്ച് സൂപ്പാക്കി വേറൊന്നും പറയാനില്ല. റാഷിദിക്കനെ ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ വീട്ടിലിരിക്കാൻ റാഷിദിക്ക സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ കാണിച്ചു കൊടുത്തു സെലക്ടേഴ്സിനും എല്ലാവരുടെ അടുത്തും ആരാണ് സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ എന്ന്. എനിക്ക് വളരെ സന്തോഷമുണ്ട് സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ കളിച്ച സ്ഥിതിക്ക്. ഇങ്ങനെ തന്നെ 2-3 ഇന്നിംഗ്സ് കൂടെ കളിച്ചിട്ട്
എനിക്ക് ഏറ്റവും ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട കാര്യം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ നമ്പർ 4 വന്ന് നമ്പർ 4 ഒരു ടീമിലും വേണ്ടിയത്. അത് ഞാൻ ഒരു പോയിന്റ് ഓൾറെഡി പറഞ്ഞു. സഞ്ജു സാംസൺ നമ്പർ 4 വന്ന് ഇങ്ങനെ കളിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ, ഒരു കൺസിസ്റ്റന്റ് ബേസിസ് എങ്കിലും കളിക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ സഞ്ജു സാംസന്റെ ഇന്ത്യ ചാൻസസ് ഒത്തിരി ഇംപ്രൂവ് ആവും. ഐ തിങ്ക് അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇന്നത്തെ കളി ഇന്ന് കളിച്ച കളി, ഐ മീൻ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് സം fanboy moment for me. Someone who adores Sanju Samson. I loved it. I just wish he had continued and won the match for Rajasthan.
Absolutely. Sandeep, I'm very sorry. We're just talking about.
No, I got most of it. I mean, Jaren was saying that Sanju Samson should come at number 4 for Rajasthan Royals. The more he bats at number 4, it will give him a better chance of making it to the Indian team.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, let's talk about the match in general. I mean, where do you guys think Rajasthan really got the grip of things, especially if you talk about the bowling? It was a very interesting selection call from Rajasthan Royals to go in with 3 proper spinners. Did it really surprise you? I mean, Jason Holder was unwell. That's the news which we got to hear. But to add to that, Sandeep, we have to talk about how they went in with Adam Zampa, Chahal and Ravichandran Ashwin. That spin press really put Gujarat from scoring a 200 to 175, because it was a belter of a surface if you ultimately look at it. Because even if you look, Trent Bolt did not swing the ball much. There was not a lot of turn what you saw in the second innings to an extent as well. This could have possibly been 200, but that spin press of Yuzvendra Chahal picking up Hardik Pandya at the right point of stage, Adam Zampa coming in, applying pressure, bowling in the depth, that was wonderful to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great sort of understanding of the situation and getting in 3 spinners over here. I mean, Gujarat Titans tried the same. Not try 3, but they tried to get a Noor Ahmed as an impact substitute. But I felt it was a questionable point from their end, but I'll come to that later. Talking about Rajasthan Royals, I think this spin trio is going to be a hugely successful trio or combination that Rajasthan Royals are operating with. And I think Zampa on any day is far superior to what Jason Holder is right now in terms of bowling. And we have seen, I mean, people say that Jason Holder has done well. His stats say that he has done pretty decently for West Indies bowling in the death overs, but I'm not a fan of Jason Holder bowling in the death overs. And also, if you don't bowl in the death overs with Sandeep Sharma in good form and Trent Bolt bowling that early spell, I don't see a necessity of them having to play on with Jason Holder. I think Bolt can just come in, bowl 1 over at the depth, and the spin trio can come in the middle and take the game away. Also, Sandeep Sharma is doing a pretty good job in the death overs as well. Today, he had a very great outing as well. 26 of 2 in 4 overs in this pitch is a great going. But having said that, if you just talk about the other end of the spectrum, Gujarat Titans, Mohit Sharma came in the last game. We did not do live for that game. He bowled beautifully in his comeback game, coming back to the IPL probably after 5-6 years. Change of jersey, coming back for Gujarat Titans in place of Yash Dayal, which was another very surprise pick. Unless Shivam Mavi is injured, I don't know why they went on without Shivam Mavi in this one or in the last one as well. But they have picked Mohit Sharma ahead of him. Great pick, because he came good for them in the last occasion against Punjab Kings. Even today, you might as well sit 7 runs of 2 overs. You could have tried him, because Alzari Joseph was struggling. Hardik Pandya did not do very well coming back in that second spell, and he had the runs controlled. He had the pressure applied from one end. Sanju Samson and Hitmaier was finding it difficult to get a move on from when Mohit Sharma was operating. That change of bowling after Rashid Khan got hit for 3 sixes, to get in a Noor Ahmed or get in another over from Alzari Joseph instead of a Mohit Sharma. I think that is where
I was very surprised because Mohit Sharma 2 overs bowled beautifully there, did not give
beautifully and I think this was the pitch. This was the pitch for Mohit Sharma. All his cutters were coming off really nicely, and he was bowling a tight line. I mean, it was defensive, but he could have gotten a couple of wickets if you would have tried to take the attack on him like Punjab Kings tried the other day. So it was very questionable captaincy, if you ask me. But they went with the star power, or so as to say, the more experienced campaigner in the form of Alzari Joseph. And I don't know why Noor Ahmed came in as an impact player. But he picked up Sanju Samson, but then travelled for plenty. So I think it was an unnecessary move. especially because Mohit Sharma was on a song.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Jen, I'm coming to you because you look at that start they got, right? In the power play, lost 2 to 3 wickets. It's never easy. It's often said that when you lose 3 wickets or 2 wickets in the power play, you're gonna be in the back foot. But then once again with that spell, it was such a beautiful spell by Hardik Pandya up front. That's the best I've seen him ball in a long, long while. He was swinging the ball beautifully, hitting at 140, and it was hard for any batter in the world. But then Sanju Samson, keeping a cool head, did not let any ball beat him. On the other end, you saw Devdutt Padikkal score runs, but at the same time, he was struggling. He was getting beaten. But Sanju Samson had a solid base there, making sure which ball to play at, and beautifully placing balls as well. How important was that particular spell to survive for Rajasthan Royals if you look in the larger context of things? Because we will talk about Hetmeyer, what he's been able to do in consistent basis as a finisher, because it's proven to us. But then today's circumstances which was presented to Rajasthan Royals was so different. In the home ground, against all the odds, against possibly the best test bowler, and with also Hardik Pandya in full song, it was a tough, tough task, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw Yashasvi Jaiswal, Butler, and Devdutt Padikkal dance around the crease trying to find the sweet spot of the bat. None of them could because that's how difficult it was. It's almost all of a sudden. I think a lot of you, if your parents have watched cricket with you, would tell you it almost seemed like it was a different ground that Rajasthan were batting in comparison to what Gujarat batted in. Someone like Trent Bolt, who is known for swinging the ball, could not swing the ball at all. And on the other hand, Hardik Pandya came in and started swinging the ball as if he was Trent Bolt himself. So it was a very difficult period of time. And I would have to say that some amount of dew coming in that after that power play also, I mean, after the power play also really helped. But to survive that, to ensure only 2 wickets fell was very important. Still, I would say a little disappointed with Devdutt Padikkal because I felt he let go of a lot of opportunities to score singles and doubles. If he had been able to do that, which is something I still believe maybe a better batter could have done that. If you just scored singles and doubles, would have put the pressure back on Gujarat because the kind of score that Gujarat had built and with the dew coming in, we all knew the dew was going to come in Narendra Modi Stadium. We knew that they probably missed 15 runs at least. And Hardik Pandya did go on to say they missed 10 runs or more. So the only way for them to make a match out of it was to get more wickets. And ideally, they should have. But so that's where I was a bit disappointed in the running between the wickets, or rather the attempt to run between the wickets. It just seemed like Devdutt Padikkal was satisfied by scoring a boundary and just staying there. But having said that, even then to survive in that amount of time, to ensure the ball is old enough for you to go after, I think you have to give credit to Sanju Samson and Padikkal as well.
I mean, yeah, I have to say that that's something which we will talk about, dot ball consumption percentage of Devdutt Padikkal as well. But Sandeep, coming to you once again on Shimran Hetmeyer in particular, right? What a brilliant knock from Shimran Hetmeyer. Now, if you have to talk about Rajasthan Royals, the whole package, the openers failed. They were the ones who were carrying this team throughout the season. If you look at most of their wins, out of the 4 wins, 3 of them they had contributed heavily. Now Butler failed, Yashasvi failed, Sanju carried this team. And if you talk about Dave, that had an on and off there. Riyan Parag once again a missed opportunity, I'll say so. And to add to that, Shimran Hetmeyer, Sanju Samson, Ravichandran Ashwin towards the tail end, and also Dhruv Jurel, who has been phenomenal so far in the limited opportunities he's gotten. Let's talk about this team building and brewing to be that team to go on to win that IPL now. This team has ticked all the boxes when it comes to bowling. Trent Bolt up front has been a phenomena. I mean, Mumbai Indians have seen that in 2020. Last season, you saw that. And Yuzvendra Chahal again with the ball. Now you reckon this team is the most scariest team in IPL this year. And this is the team to beat. Because if you can beat this team, you certainly have your horses up front. It'll give you a lot of confidence as well.
Yeah, I mean, on paper at least, I mean this team looks really really strong, and just the fact that the middle order, as you said, I mean the over reliance on the top order was being an actual thing, right?
Yeah.
Like before this game, but Sanju Samson got 2 ducks. He was coming into this game with 2 ducks,
Yeah.
like 2 previous ducks. Before that, he had struck some great form.
So
Yeah,
it's,
he
it's,
scored.
it's either all the way or no way for Sanju Samson at this
Yeah,
point
and
this
then
season.
either way or all the way for Sanju Samson, that is something else. But I mean, with 2 half centuries and then 2 ducks, his average was again close to some 26, 27. Very impressive strike rate. But you are the captain of the side, and you come in at number 3, number 4. You have to have a season of at least an average of 35 with the strike rate that he's going with. So this knock was very very important for Sanju Samson. as it came under pressure as well against a team which they hadn't beaten so far, had played them on 3 occasions, came out on the losing end of all the 3 occasions from winning positions, one might say, in some of the games, not the finals, of course. But I mean, this was a very, very important knock for Sanju Samson. And with Sanju Samson coming good in that middle order, Shimran Hetmeyer doing a Shimran Hetmeyer sort of a knock, like whatever he used to do for Delhi Capitals
Yeah.
consistently in that 2020-2021 period.
Yeah.
This is a very, very dangerous Shimran Hetmeyer, because if you just see that players are not finding it, the opposition has no clue as to how to get him out. Even when Hetmeyer is not scoring, I mean, not scoring the 30s and the 40s, it's because the innings is coming to an end. He's coming towards the later half of the innings. So we really see Shimran Hetmeyer is getting dismissed this season. So that is some ominous signs for the opposition as well. And the way he played the quality spinners, I mean, Noor Ahmed is, I mean, still inexperienced, but he's not a joke to sort of
Yeah.
toying around. And also
I
Rashid
mean, let's
Khan,
talk about that
Alzari
Ashwin
Joseph.
cameo as well, right? Because that
Yeah,
particular over,
I was
Ashwin,
just going to come to it. I mean, 23 needed of 2 overs. Dhruv Jurel, we know, is a certified finisher. Hit a six, got out. 17 of 10. That is when your, one might say, your lower order, or the bowling all rounder is coming into play. Ravichandran Ashwin comes in against one of the premium fast bowlers of Team India, who
yeah.
was bowling beautifully, Mohammad Shami. Hits him for a four, hits him for a six, takes
Hmm.
the game away before getting out. So I
Yeah,
think
you know
that
what
10
happened,
of 3.
Pratibani? So
Yeah.
we were out watching the match, and one person in the restaurant asked me, "What are the possible ways in which Gujarat Rajasthan can win?" I said, if it is 44 or 4 overs, then they can. And then I was just talking to Jaren. If Ashwin comes in, if there's 20 to win of two, Ashwin can manage it as well. So I'm just happy that that prediction came out, because Ashwin as a batter has come off this season. I'm seeing a huge improvement in his power game, and that gives me a lot of confidence, because last season's or the season prior to that, I would have told, okay, Ashwin might not be able to do it. But now, with that extra bit of shuffle, he has got a very strong base, and he's been able to clear fast bowling. And that is the best thing. Ashwin has always been a good player of spin, but now he's been able to clear good pace bowlers. And that is an ominous sign for Rajasthan Royals. Now, they can even play Ashwin at number 7 on occasions if need be. But on ideal circumstance, this is an opinion which I have. I think you can afford not to play Zampa. They can bring in a Murugan Ashwin, and then, or they can bring in Faisal, who's part of their team as well, who's a Kerala leg spinner, who's another
Or probably
very
even a
impressive
Kuldeep
spinner.
Sen. I think Kuldeep Sen looked
I'm
good
talking about a
in
spinner. I'm just
whatever
talking about a
opportunity.
spinner, right? If you want to bring in a spinner,
Fair
they can
enough,
bring in
yeah.
Murugan Ashwin, and then maybe play Donovan Ferreira instead of Riyan Parak. That's going to give them a lot more power in the middle order. Then this team is going to only brew or cook even more. What do you think about that, Jaren? Because there's an interesting question which we have. He says in PSL, Rasha was too good. I don't know what happened to him in IPL. How do you want to answer this?
Well, I think Abel, you've pretty much answered your side of it right away, but I think there's a lot that we have to consider, right? I think one of the things I have to really say is that Indian players have started to look really good against spin, and not all of them, but at least the likes of Sanju Samson, Venkatesh Iyer, for instance, they've got that very good stride right up ahead when they are playing balls on the front foot, and the way they shuffle right from back foot to front foot is very quick. You won't realize how quickly Samson is rocked to his back foot, or how quickly Samson is pushed forward. And same thing with Venkatesh Iyer. For example, that's the reason why Venkatesh Iyer is so good against offies as well. Something which is supposedly to be a negative matchup. You have to really look at how Venkatesh Iyer is so good against office for that particular reason. So I think
Yeah.
not just those two, I also believe that Indians are generally better playing spinners. And that's the reason why also, someone like Rashid Khan is turning out to be that he's
And
finding it
also
that
to
much
add
more
to that,
difficult.
Jaren, I feel
But having said
Sanju
that, he's
Samson
also
has never
difficult
struggled,
too.
right? Sanju Samson has never struggled against Rashid Khan. That's
He
never
hasn't.
been
He
a
hasn't. He
ma-
hasn't.
never been a
Yeah,
negative matchup there. So that was a positive matchup always. I think
correct.
whenever he had played for Sunrisers Hyderabad as well, Sanju Samson has always performed well against Sunrisers because he was never troubled by Rashid Khan. I think he scored 100 once in Jaipur, or I don't remember. Yeah, he scored 100 in Jaipur as well against Sunrisers Hyderabad. So so if you look historically, Sanju Samson has always enjoyed playing that extra pace on spinner, and I think the more the air you give,
Hmm.
Sanju Samson used to struggle immensely against Chehel. That was one negative matchup he had. Chahal used to always trouble Sanju Samson, but now he can only be troubled in the net. So that's a big respite for someone like a Sanju Samson. And he has got a negative matchup against Hasaranga as well. Next week when they travel to Bangalore, I really hope Hasaranga gets Sanju Samson, or else it's going to be curtains for RCB is what I believe. Sandipani, coming back to you, let's talk about this factor because now Gujarat Titans have lost two important matches from winning position. One against your team, of course, and one this game. Of course, this should have been a closed game. You are letting 8 overs, 100 runs to be leaked. Is there a certain bit of concern on the death bowling? Because last year you had a Lockie Ferguson who was trying to do that job. Alzari Joseph is good, but not the best of death bowler.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Alzari Joseph is once again a bowler who does extremely well in the first phase of the innings, or probably in the middle overs as well. Alzari Joseph is a great option to pick up wickets. But when you talk about death overs, I feel he is not at his best because Alzari Joseph relies on the bounce of the pitch to get his wickets predominantly. So yeah, this has been that case where Gujarat Titans are losing games that they should have closed down because 112 of 8 overs is 14 runs per over. So if you can't manage to defend 14 runs per over after the opposition has lost 4 wickets and seem to be in complete trouble, it's a bad sign for them. So, but you have to give the credit to Rajasthan Royals because Shimran Hetmeyer and Sanju Samson played a blinder, and it was only because Rashid Khan was smashed for 3 sixes in the very next over, in the 13th over by Sanju Samson, that gave them the belief that they could go on. And
Yeah.
in the next over itself, they brought in Alzari Joseph. He traveled for 2 sixes as well. So
Mhm.
I believe that is when the momentum shifted. And talking about one-off game for Rashid Khan, I think this is not the first game off for Rashid Khan.
Yeah.
He picked up a hat trick against KKR, but I would consider that was an off game against Rashid Khan because both the batters, Nitish Rana and Venkatesh Iyer, had played Rashid Khan beautifully in that middle overs phase, and he was ineffective, and they were playing at Gujarat. So now it's 2 consecutive games at the Narendra Modi Stadium where Rashid Khan has travelled. Even though he has picked up 5 wickets in those 2 games, but he has travelled in excess of 80 runs in the 8 overs that he has bowled. So those are some concerning signs, especially because Gujarat Titans does not have another spinner. They can sort of prevent the run flow with Mohit Sharma coming in the middle overs, and they have a good fast bowling setup. Death overs will still not be a concern according to me because Mohammad Shami can give you 1 over, and then you have the option of I feel on this sort of circumstances or this sort of pitches, Mohit Sharma will do a good job in the death overs because he's a Sandeep Sharma sort of a bowler who can bowl those slower deliveries, who can bowl those Yorkers. He used to do that role he used to fill up that role for Chennai Super Kings as well, but that was 6 7 years back. So I feel they'll not have many problems in the death overs, but Rashid Khan traveling for 10 runs per over in that middle phase, especially being the only spinner in that team, is going to be a concern for Gujarat Titans.
I
Not
agree. I
just
agree.
that, I also feel Joshua Little
Well, I'll
getting
just
dropped.
bring an
And
interesting stat up, guys.
yeah,
Yeah. I'll just bring up an interesting stat which is found. So Ahmedabad is the second worst venue for Rashid Khan when it comes to IPL in terms of economy rate. He goes at 7.94, which isn't bad if you consider him being a leg spinner. But if you look at some of the other grounds where he goes as good as 5.25, which is in Dubai, his
Yeah.
record in Ahmedabad isn't good in terms of economy. Strike rate and average is very good. He's got a strike rate of 12 and average of 15.9, but his economy is the third worst when it comes to venues in IPL.
I agree. Very
yeah, and I
interesting. Very
also
interesting.
feel Joshua Little getting dropped is a very good thing. And they did not have to use a Noor Ahmed, according to me. They could have used Dasun Shanaka in that middle order, who could have also given you 1 2 overs with the ball. Because Joshua Little going out and Hardik Pandya bowling with that new ball today, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, Hardik Pandya had more swing than what Trent Bolt had to offer in this sort
Yeah.
of pitches. So they have
Yeah.
a new ball bowler in form of Hardik Pandya and Mohammad Shami.
But
They
you know
don't need
what?
to
But
just
you know what, Sandeep? I have an interesting point to make over here. I think Noor Ahmed's inclusion was very good, tactically speaking. That's another question which we have as well, which Priyanka has asked. So I will take that up. Before that, Kapil has a question. And while we talk about Priyanka's question, I'll talk about Noor Ahmed's selection as well. Jen, what do you think about our great Riyan Parag? Can't ball, can't bat. He should maybe leave cricket and join a dance academy. Again, it's still unfair on him because we all are big fans of Riyan Parag. He's not
I
really
think
come
it's
there.
it's like we
Yes.
talk about Real Madrid in La Liga and in Champions League, right? For some reason, if
Yeah.
you play him in SMAT, he is an absolutely gun batter. The moment you put him in IPL colors, for some reason he fails to perform, and it's just odd at this point in time how see it's not that he's not got the talent, but I think at this point in time it's time we ask question whether he's got the temperament for it or not.
Yeah.
Today everything was set up so perfectly. The moment David Padikkal got out, this was the Riyan Parag stage. Could have been
Yeah.
the game that he could have won for Rajasthan. Finally closed everything out, but for some reason, and that's very inexplicable. I think at this point in time, I can only if there's one thing I can blame. I think I can only blame the character, or I wouldn't call the character as much as the temperament, because it just seems like he's getting a little carried away.
Yeah.
So it's very surprising for me. I really thought today is going to be the day he comes off.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that because that question was really funny. Kudos to you, couple, for asking that. You should maybe join a Bihu Dance Academy.
And
But you know
also
what?
talking about Riyan
But
Parag,
do I can
I
take a
also
last
have,
throw of dice in just giving him the number 3 position because Devdutt Padikkal, he's scoring boundaries, but his dot ball consumption percentage is very high. You know, he's not rotating the strike. That's putting a lot of added pressure. Even if you look at that first 10 overs, Devdutt Padikkal consumed a lot more balls than Sanju Samson, and he was not getting away as well. And when he got out, that really put Rajasthan Royals in a bit of a rut, isn't it? Then for Riyan Parag to come and play that kind of a shot, because if Riyan Parag would have walked in at number 3 today, that
So
would have
just
it would have been a tough circumstance to come in because both the ballers were bowling beautifully. He would have possibly got on the first ball, but still, it would have been a better position for him to walk in rather than walking in at number 5 when the run rate required was closer to 11 or 12.
yeah, I mean, we have been vocal about getting
yeah, I
Riyan
just picked
Parag
up.
in.
I mean, Sanjivani before.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I may just, so the issue with Riyan Parag at this point in time is he bats at number 4, number 3, and number 4, 5, right? Now, at number 3 and 4, his dot ball percentage is 44.8 and 40.6 respectively, which is horrendous. And I think some of the best, probably at least you need to keep a dot ball percentage at 30%. As a top order bat, it's understandable if you're a finisher or you're looking for those big shots, that once in a while your dot ball percentage increases that a little bit. But still batting in number 4, till number 4, I would say, as a top order bat, you're still required to ensure there's no stagnancy that is creeping into your batting order. If 44%, or rather 45, it's as close as 45 percentage of
Yeah.
dot ball percentage, if you roughly calculate, it takes 2 deliveries to score 1 run, and or at least 2 deliveries to do anything. When it comes to every 2 deliveries phase, is 1 delivery is going to be non-scoring, which is not at all a helpful thing. And we always say, right, when you score a boundary, you have to take the single of the next ball, because the moment
Yeah.
you don't take take single, right, it allows a
Right.
bauler to really set you up. The most
Right.
frustrating thing for a bowler when he's going well is if you go get off strike, because the bowler has to change his plans. And for example, just balling to Devdutt Padikkal, your plan would be
I mean,
different being a
I'll give you a very
left-hander.
simple example
Imagine
today.
then having
He
to bowl
scored
to
26
someone for the
runs,
next
right?
ball.
I mean, he has scored 26 runs today. He's played 25 balls to score that 26 runs. And in the 26 runs, 20 runs have come off boundaries. 2 sixers, 2 fours. So he has taken close to 21 balls to score that 6 runs. Now, that is in itself a bad red flag for someone like Rajasthan Royals. Because if you want to continue playing him, and if he's going to put you in positions like that, like what he did today, that's going to be a lot of pressure. Even for Riyan Parag, I can't really blame him today for another reason. When he walked into bat, the run rate required was 12. And that's why you reckon Sandeep Mani, this is a good opportunity for Riyan Parag to bat at number 3. Because I know they played Devdutt Padikkal just for that matchup against Rashid Khan. Maybe left-handed to take on someone like Rashid Khan. It did not come off today, and I'm not sure how long is it going to even come off. So Riyan Parag at 3, Sanju at 4, and then others to follow. That makes this Rajasthan Royals team feel a lot more compact.
Yeah, I mean the plan that you set for Rajasthan Royals, getting in a Donovan Federer, in for a Riyan Parag or a Devdutt Padikkal in that middle order, and then you can go in with Murugan Ashwin in place of Noor Ahmed, I mean Jason Holder, or the Adam Zampa, whoever is playing. So I think that is a better combination, because then you can have a Riyan Parag in at number 3. Because we have said that Riyan Parag should come in as early as possible, be it number 4, be it number 3, it wouldn't be a problem. But I think I see them persisting with Riyan Parag only till the end of this season. And I think number 5 is the best that he'll get, because Devdutt Padikkal, even though he has a lot of dot ball percentages, like mentioned, I think he played 60% of his deliveries as dot balls today itself. So I mean, he, even though he struggles to pick up those singles and doubles, but he scored a 26 of this game of 25 balls. Even though it had negative impact, but he did still score those runs after Rajasthan Royals were 4 for 2 at one point at the end of 3 overs.
Yeah.
So it will still go on the books as some sort of contribution towards the win. And in the last game as well, we saw Devdutt Padikkal trying to get going, scored a useful 20 odd runs. So I feel that they will persist with Devdutt Padikkal at 3, Sanju Samson at 4, and then Riyan Parag will have to make the number 5 situation count, because I don't see him getting a chance if he continues to fail throughout this season as well. I think this is going to be his
Yeah.
barrier. This season is going to
Absolutely.
be his barrier. And also,
Absolutely.
I don't understand why is Rahul Tewatia a member of that Gujarat Titans side. I mean, okay, finisher, very good. Hit a boundary of Punjab Kings in the last over, in the last game, took them to the win with 4 needed of 2 balls. But hear me out. They
He's
are
gonna
basically
come back against your team once
they
again, Sandeep Manipia,
they
if they have
are
a match.
they are practically playing with 10 players. They are practically, Gujarat Titans are practically playing with 10 players and the impact sub,
I mean, yeah.
because you don't have a Rahul Tewatia bowling. Rahul Tewatia came into bat at number 8 today. Number
Right.
8. The player is not bowling. He's a decent leg spinner. I mean, on this sort of pitches, you
Hmm.
can have 1 or 2 overs from Rahul Tewatia
Yeah.
as well. Good spinner, not bowling, getting into bat at number 8. Why is he even playing? Just get him in as an impact sub if you want him to. And when Gujarat Titans is chasing, if you know that you are going to bat first, you don't need a Rahul Tewatia in your team, because you are not making him bowl. You are not making him bat. What is the use? He usually fills in the point region where I mean, he
Yeah.
is a gun fielder, but his services are not really required. So I think that they can push him as an impact sub and get in a
Hmm.
proper batter in his place.
Yeah, I have an interesting analogy to that, because primarily, if you look at all the greatest IPL teams, there's always a 10-man team with one player who's always going to be the floater who can be used to advantage. Maybe a bits and pieces cricketer as well. Even if you look at Kolkata Knight Riders in their prime days, they had a Rajat Bhatia who used to do a very similar role, who used to be not used as much as well. So I personally think that's how you are going to use someone like a Rahul Tewatia. He will come good in some occasions, he might not, and that is a volatility with Rahul Tewatia. On occasions, he's gonna make you look like, okay, he's the greatest finisher there to play the IPL, and on days he's gonna look like, okay, why is there a need of Rahul Tewatia as well? And that's why when you build a team, you look at certain pieces, and I think Rahul Tewatia just fits in perfectly as a piece who can be shifted around if need be. But at this point, they're not going to mend what is not broken. Priyanka says take a question, so we'll come back to that question now. Uh, Now today you saw Noor Ahmed being used as a tactical substitute. It came good. I mean, taking Sanju Samson's wicket at that point really opened the game. You would have said it is Gujarat Titans' game to win from there on. But if not for Shimran Hitmar hitting Alzari for 20 runs from there. Jaren, when you talk tactically, she's asked a question pertaining to RR versus GT. I reckon Rajasthan has got the pole position as a tactically astute team. Sangakkara, Sanju Samson, that combination of taking calls, especially when it comes to matchups, especially when it comes to sending an Ashwin, especially when it comes to planning against certain oppositions, they have been the better team tactically overall in IPL as well. The the only team in the IPL on the face of it, you really feel like, yes, this team is tactically outsmarting others. It has to be Rajasthan Royals, isn't it? Even when you talk about, because there's another question on Ashish Nehra as well. I think, yeah, Ashish Nehra getting involved in the game a lot more. First, talk about Rajasthan Royals, then we'll talk about Ashish Nehra. Jen, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Rajasthan Royals is a very good thinking tank in itself. Someone like Kumar Sangakkara is an amazing thinker of the game. If you guys have caught him on Sky Sports commentary, you would really see that he's someone who really thinks about the game and the finer details of the game. And for him to be combined with someone with the likes of someone like Ashwin, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, if you look at it, it's Kumar Sangakkara, Lasith Malinga, two people who are very good when it comes to tactical thinking, especially with someone like Lasith Malinga as well. I think he's very underrated in terms of how clever he is. People just think he's someone who just used to bowl Yorkers, but if you've watched enough CSK versus Mumbai matches, you'll realize that even when the likes of MS Dhoni, who is probably one of the best Yorker players out there, Malinga has pulled off a lot of games. So he's someone who's very clever with how a game can be progressed or how tactics can be utilized. I also think Ravichandran Ashwin takes a lot of calls in that dressing room. He's someone who they really look up to as a source of tactical plans. And again, Sanju Samson is greatly improved. I think me and you were having this conversation off camera as well. How Sanju Samson, when he was a younger captain, was very raw when it came to tactics. Initially, initial matches, he made a lot of mistakes when it comes to calculation of his allotting ballers the right overs. But in the past, especially since the last season, he's become really good tactically. I think that's also got to do with the management. So I really think Rajasthan is. I'll agree with you, Abel. Rajasthan probably is the best tactical team in this IPL because the way they've utilized their players, you would say they don't make a lot of tactical errors. Even for example, today bowling the likes of Adam Zampa and Yuzvendra Chahal in the death to David Miller really restricted them. I think Gujarat kind of got away towards it, but having them ball those overs, David Miller really found it difficult because he was not getting any pace whatsoever, and he had to manufacture pace out of nothing. So that was also pretty clever, and I've not seen any other team. I don't think any other team would have gone with that
Yeah.
kind of a decision. But just speaking about Gujarat Titans as well, I know Gujarat Titans does a lot of prep in the background.
Yeah.
I heard one of the coaching staff speak about how, someone like when this was announced very initially, it was Ashish Kapoor, by the way. Yeah, it was Ashish
Yeah.
Kapoor
The
who
manager.
is
The manager.
Gujarat, who was part of the Gujarat Titans. Yeah, the
He's
manager
the
of
manager.
Gujarat Titans. He spoke about how Ashish Nehra, when he came to know about the rules of impact sub, went home and prepared a list of things that are list of scenarios where each and every player
Yeah.
who wouldn't be part of the playing 11 can be fit in as an impact sub. So they do a lot of prep in the background, and I genuinely think that Ashish Nehra is one of the reasons why this Gujarat Titans does so well, because
Yeah.
I did not know this about him, but he is someone who's again tactically astute. But I think one thing I do have to give to Rajasthan,
Yeah.
when it comes to intuition, I believe Rajasthan are slightly better than Gujarat. For instance, today, right? You said Noor Ahmed was a good choice. I still believe that at that point in time, you didn't need a spinner. Someone like Rashid Khan had gone for plenty of runs. It just showed that spinners are going to go for runs. So I believe maybe the likes of, maybe very frankly speaking, maybe the likes of Josh Little would have done a slightly better job. So that's where I feel Noor
Maybe.
Ahmed was a little too forced, and especially the moment when he came on to ball, right? It was too late. And someone like Hitmeyer would have just loved that. And not to forget, Samson did go after him. I still believe that one there was a mistake of Samson. It should have again traveled the ball he got out on. So today at
Yeah.
least it was Rajasthan was a better team, and overall I think when it comes to intuition, Rajasthan are the better team.
Okay, that's great. That's perfectly put out there. Um, Sanimani, we have to talk about GT as well. This question of Ashish Nara getting involved a lot more, does it do good or does it hamper the team? Because even against Kolkata Knight Riders, people did feel like he was intruding into captain's plans a lot more than what he actually should be doing. And often we have seen when a coach or team management gets to involve a lot into captain's decision, it becomes a complete chaotic situation. Now, what Ashinara is doing is very visible on camera. Everyone knows he's very animated near the touchline, near the boundary, and of course, and he's always there in the ears of a fielder or the bowler as to what he should be doing, what is a possible way in which you can do things. Does that really hamper the plan? Does that make a captain's plan go out of the window? Because when you talk about teams like Chennai Super Kings and Mumbai Indians, they've been successful primarily because captain is the final decision maker. Even with KKR and Gautam Gambhir as well. When you have a captain who makes the final calls, that certainly gives that galvanizing feel, especially when it comes to team, and he is a final call maker. I mean, it has worked for Gujarat Titans so far. He's been a phenomenal coach, phenomenal team so far. These matches shouldn't be really counted there. But sometimes, in these kind of situations, it can come back to haunt you.
No, I'll say that Gujarat Titans have been this successful team, and the success mantra for the Gujarat Titans have been the involvement of Ashish Nehra into the setup, because the cameras are catching Ashish Nehra with all those animated signals and gestures. But this is something that Nehra has been doing for the past year or so. He was this animated and this involved in the game last season as well. And I think even though Hardik Pandya is the current T20I captain of the Indian team as well, and he captained Gujarat Titans to glory last time around, I think a lot of credit should go and has gone to Ashish Nehra, and he deserves that. And I feel that just because they had 1 over off in that KKR game and 8 overs off in the Rajasthan Royals game, you shouldn't just go on and say why is Ashish Nehra signaling or doing whatever he's doing, making those animated signals, because that has won them 4 games or 3 games in this IPL so far. So you have to take that into account as well. They have lost 2 games, but they have also won 3 games, and they look like winning the other 2 as well. So if you give credit to Hardik Pandya and Ashish Nehra's combination in those wins, they can take the brunt of the losses as well. And I feel that they were definitely today. Rajasthan Royals were the more tactical or the better tactical side, but I feel overall Gujarat Titans have been a brilliant tactical side in the last season as well. That allowed them to win, because if you see on paper, they were not the best teams. It was only because every player knew what was their roles, how to go about it, and when exactly to sort of implode or explode and get the attack on the opposition. That is
Yeah.
why Gujarat Titans was such a successful side. They had role clarity, and it was all because of Ashish Nehra, Hardik Pandya, and Gary Kirsten. I think this was the combination that worked. This is the
Absolutely.
combination that has been
No,
working as well.
sometimes, in high octane situations or high pressure situations, you don't want a lot of words coming in, right? I remember that over before Yash Dayal balled even against KKR, there was a lot of things put into his head,
Yeah, but
which
but
was
then
not
just
good
it's
sometimes.
not just Ashish Nehra, right? When Yash Dayal was hit for the first 2 sixes or
I
three
agree,
sixes,
I agree, but
you could
then
see a huddle where there was
sometimes,
David Miller, Rashid
why
Khan.
Teju has also asked that question is because I think sometimes you don't need two voices. You just need one voice. Maybe it works and it might work sometimes, but more often than not, it might fail also, especially in situations like this. Last year, what happened was they won most of the games chasing. They had lot. They never faced situations where they had to defend a lot of totals. They did defend, but they were not put under pressure like this. Now they're put there. Now they have to face other reverse side of things where they are put under pressure and where they have to defend totals. Now that's a different scenario altogether. Jen, what do you reckon about that? Do you think tables have turned because now it's a different position altogether? Maybe as a batting unit, they really believe that they can chase down any total from winning position. But as a bowling unit now, there will be issues. There will be things where you start creeping in. Okay, now what happens if things don't go well for us? How much can we defend? Now these are insecurities which will creep in at some stage. I'll tell you an incident in 2019 as well. Ashish Nehra, Gary Kirsten, Mithun Manas all were part of RCB's management. I did see a lot of these things happen as well, where Ashnera was continuously on ballers' ears, and that did not really go well for RCB that season. Sometimes when you're defending totals, maybe you don't need a lot of voices inside your head in pressure situations, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just tell you, if you guys remember the KKR innings, right, where Josh Little also traveled a lot in that KKR match. I think he was bowling the 19th over, if I'm not wrong, or something before that. I exactly don't remember which match it was,
He was
but there was
bowling
this
the
particular
19th
match
over.
where almost everyone was. Sorry?
He was bowling the
Sorry,
19th
buddy.
over. He traveled for 2 boundaries in the last 2
Yeah, he
deliveries
was
of that
bowling.
19th over.
Yeah. Absolutely. So when he was bowling, it just seemed like I think there were three people who were standing next to him, giving him ideas and ways to ball and whatnot. And so that's where I really went back to the likes of CSK, for instance, or Mumbai, for that matter. If you look at how CSK works, what basically happens is MS Dhoni just stands in the background and just sets up a field and then give the ball at least 2 to 3 options, and he can ball any three of those deliveries. Mumbai Indians, on the other hand, you will see Rohit Sharma walk up to the bowler, ask him what he wants at the start of the over, and just that's it. You'll probably see one more bowler. You probably see Jasprit Bumrah. If it's a younger bowler, you'll see Bumrah as well step up. They will talk to the bowler. The bowler tells them what his plan is, and then they go. And then they don't come back unless they feel the bowler has been a little flustered towards the end of the over.
Yeah.
But in that match, you saw every ball Gujarat Titans players coming and crowding him. Same, I think, with Ashish Nehra as well. So I think there is a point in time where you have to let the player go, because if a player has made it to the IPL, regardless of at which level their development is, there is something in that player, and that's the reason why your scouts have picked them up and you have decided to put them in the match in the first place. So I believe maybe a little bit more trust is what Gujarat Titans need to put on their players. Allow them to do what they want to do. That's what I said, right? When Yash Dayal got hit for those many runs, you did say that you are going to, like, Rahul Tevate came out and said he was the best bowler for us last year. But then I'm not saying Mohit Sharma is a bad player to replace him. But at least if you've replaced him, I hope in the background, he knows that he's still in the plans. It's just they're giving him some time off. It's not that he's now out of the season, out of the team for the season, just for those 2 matches. So that's where you have to really learn from these teams, because these teams do give a lot of confidence. I mean, someone like Shane Watson was carried by CSK throughout. And it was not like Shane Watson was doing them any good. He was playing 2 overs every match, not scoring more than 5 runs and going back. There was 2 overs that CSK lost, but he came good for them even in that final, right? And he was ready to bleed for them. So that's how you bring that confidence in a player. Now, this is me saying a lot of things, assuming a lot of things because we don't know
Yeah.
what goes on in the GT camp.
Yeah.
But I do believe, Abel, that sometimes when they go under pressure, there seems to be a lot of messages, a lot of ideas really overcrowding things.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally with you on that. I think that's about it from this game. We have to talk about another game as well, which took place earlier today. We already have a comment which says, "I loved." He says, "What Venki's knock was extremely good." Sanjivani, this could have been a KKR win again, right? And today you saw where the bowling is lacking. We did speak about it yesterday as well, and even today before the game, how it was going to be about the two bowling sides as to who's going to bowl badly is going to have the worst game. You have to say Venkatesh Iyer played out of his skin for that knock. He was beautiful scoring that 100, one of the best knocks I've seen him play. And he always had a good game. He always had a good average against Mumbai Indians as well. But from there on, once again, bowling being a letdown, you can say the mystery spinners went for plenty. And that really was the turning point because Surya Kumar Yadav really took on the mystery spinners of Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti and made sure that they don't really get settled in the game.
I think the match was lost in the power play itself. When you have Sunil Narayan coming in the fourth over and Ishan Kishan smacks Sunil Narayan for 22 runs of the fourth over itself. And I think the game, they were 57 for no loss at the end of 4 overs before Suyash Sharma came in and picked up the wicket of Rohit Sharma and brought some life into the game. But it was a one-sided encounter when Mumbai Indians were batting because KKR did not look like picking up wickets until the later half of the game where Ferguson was bowling a good line. I think Ferguson was introduced into the game a lot later than he would ideally be liked to. I would have loved to see another, at least 1 over of Ferguson in the power play, or probably 2 overs of Ferguson in the power play, because the way Ishan Kishan was taking on the spinners and was timing the ball today, it was absolutely certain that he was not going to get dismissed by mistiming a shot. He eventually got out missing a ball completely of Varun Chakravarti, but by then the damage had already been done. And talking about KKR's innings, I mean KKR are losing games, like Nitish Rana mentioned in the post-match conference as well. They are losing games with the ball. But I would also say with 135 for 3 at the end of 14 overs, with one of your batsmen at 90 something, Venkatesh Iyer, kudos to you, a century after 15 years for KKR. Great batting, century of 49 balls, 104 of 51 balls, everything to be proud of. But he was in the 90s in the when he had played 41 deliveries itself. So he took 7 to 8 deliveries to reach that 3-figure mark. And Rinku Singh in the other end was really struggling. 135 for 3 at the end of 14 overs. KKR ending at 185. I think that is something you cannot afford to make. And
Yeah.
I will get a lot of heat by saying this. Venkatesh Iyer, fabulous knock, but very selfish towards after he reached the 90s, because he was
Mm.
playing for a century. He was playing
Yeah.
for a century. KKR scored 5 runs in the 15th over, 6 runs in the 16th over, and then they started to get a move on and scored some 40 runs in the last 4 overs. But with the batting lineup they had, with Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan, Umesh Yadav in the backyard, waiting in the backyard, I
Yeah.
think this was supposed to be a total of at least 200 and 210. And I am completely dumbstruck and clueless as to what Rinku Singh was doing at the other end, because he was just taking a single and giving the strike to the batter. When one batter is closing on a milestone, I think from whatever game I understand, I feel the other batters should get a move on. Brilliant innings from Rinku Singh in the last game. Brilliant innings from
Yeah.
Rinku Singh. Fabulous innings from Rinku Singh against Gujarat Titans. But
Yeah.
I have always said this, even in the game against Gujarat Titans, I was going to come
But
out
yeah,
here.
yeah, that's what I'm coming to as well. Because even against Gujarat Titans, if that 5 sixes wouldn't have come into play,
Yeah,
you
he
would
was
have been
eight
questioning
for
Kusing's knock there as
yeah, he
well.
was 8 for 14 at one stage against Gujarat Titans. He was some 10 runs of 10 balls against in the last game against Sunrisers Hyderabad. So
Yeah.
Rinku Singh takes some time to get a move
But
on.
that's why you
And
reckon someone like Rinku Singh can be promoted up the order. I think playing him
exactly,
at
why
number
was
six below
Shardul
Shardul
Thakur?
Thakur
Exactly,
was,
yeah,
was a little bit of a shocking decision for me personally, at least, because why would you have someone like Rinku Singh who's in very good form batting at number 6 for this team? And why was there a need to send in Shardul Thakur today when you have someone like a Rinku Singh who's playing so well, and you have Andre Russell also there, Sunil Narine also there. I think it was a misfired shot today, and I
I
think
think
that's one.
they were just going to target Ritik Shawkin because he was bowling beautifully in the middle, not so well with the words that he used. I'm not sure what he used, but I mean he was bowling beautifully out there. So I think it was a tactical call to get in Shardul Thakur in once Nitish Rana
Yeah,
got out. But Rinku Singh, I agree with you. With that form, should be promoted up the order. 18
yeah,
runs of 18 balls. When the when the striker non-striker at the non-strikers, you have a batter at in his 90s. He's trying to get to that century, get to a milestone. I was completely clueless as to what Rinku Singh did over there. And Venkatesh Iyer, kudos to you, great innings. But
yeah.
he said in the orange cap ceremony after the game that he has looked to play for the team entirely. I mean, just apart from those 2 overs, I will agree with him.
Yeah, I agree, I
Taking
agree.
nothing away from taking
But
nothing away
whatever,
from Venkatesh Iyer. Yeah.
it's a big day for KKR because a century after Brendan McCullum, he goes in Hall of Fame for sure. But Jaren,
Yeah.
let's talk on Mumbai Indians. Big game for them, another big victory. Rohit Sharma, that 20 runs was very crucial there because he batted a strike at 153. And for Ishan Kishan, how important was this knock? Because this could have been a make or break for Ishan Kishan as well. If he would have failed today, then the question marks would have been even more prominent to drop someone like Ishan Kishan or maybe change his batting position. But today, him trying to play that knock, giving Mumbai the impetus that really helps this team to believe now that they can chase down any score because they've got the finishers. They've got Surya Kumar Yadav also who hit a good bit of form today. Now that's going to really make Mumbai believe, though their bowling is slightly on the weaker side, but at least when it comes to chasing totals down, they'll be in a better position.
I'll be very frank. I genuinely thought KKR didn't ball the right lines to someone like Ishan Kishan. I was just seeing a stat today. Outside off stump, Ishan Kishan is very good. He strikes at 237. On the stumps at 167 on the off stump, middle stump line. Post the middle stump, he strikes at 55. And at his legs, when you cramp him for room, he's striking around 40, 40, 35. So, which means, I think this is last 2 years' data. And today, where Kolkata genuinely bowled him, they continuously kept bowling outside off stump. Not blaming the spinners, I still think the way he took on Narayan was absolutely. Narayan had no ways, no two
Yeah.
ways to come after. The only
No,
way he
I
could
think
have
that
actually
pickup
got a
shot
wicket
really worked
was
for Ishan
when if
Kishan
there were
today.
more fielders outside.
Yeah, I feel the
Yeah.
pickup shot really
Yeah,
worked
I
for
mean, I think
Ishan
that's
Kishan
where
today
the
because he
pace
was
was,
taking
right?
the ball.
Especially the likes of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Sandhivani, but just as a saying, right, the Pacers really kept balling outside of stump, fifth stump, fourth stump line, hoping Ishan Kishan will leave the ball probably. Too much room, and that's the reason why I felt they gave him way too much room when they allowed him to settle down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's also the reason why they got off such a good start, right? Otherwise, I
Yeah.
believe if they got an Ishan Kishan out very early, Mumbai would have felt like the same script is repeating. But when that partnership came in, that really galvanized the team. And as Sandipani mentioned, after that 6 overs, there's no coming back. 71 runs they scored in the power play, if I'm not wrong. If not 71, more than that, which is almost
72.
which meant you had less than 100 runs to chase after the power play was
Yeah.
over. So that means there was no way you could have come back until and unless Mumbai imploded. So that's
Yeah.
really where I have to question the pace bowling of Kolkata Knight Riders. I believe genuinely though, if Andre Russell was fit, able to ball, KKR would have done a better job because that's
He
exactly the
balled. He
kind of
did
line and
ball.
length that Andre Russell likes to ball.
He did ball today, but
But he
then he
couldn't
was
ball
not
in the
that
power play,
impressive.
right? I mean, that's where
Yeah. So that's why I think KKR
like
should try out someone else also in the team. I
Also,
think
Loki Ferguson playing as the proper foreign pacer for the side came into bowl in the 11th over. They tried to replicate what Riley Medvedev did in the first innings
yeah.
for Mumbai Indians, and I
but it
think
was too late.
it is a yeah.
It was too late by then.
Yeah, it was a horrible call. It was a horrible call from
Yeah.
Nitish Rana because once you realize the openers are going guns against your spinners, against your quality spinners, against your prime bowlers, you should have
Yeah.
got in a Loki Ferguson who is playing in the sixth or fifth over itself and not wait till the game is already over. When he
Yeah, I
came
agree.
into bowl, they needed 77, 78 runs of 10 overs. Even when
Right.
Andrew Russell came into bowl in the 12th or 13th over, by then it was just formalities that. And also you have to realize Surya Kumar Yadav played that 44-run knock or 43
Yeah.
run knock, came into form. We'll talk about it,
Yeah.
but I mean he had a great matchup against KKR. Tilak Verma had a good record against KKR. So I think once the openers really got off to a great start, this result was bound to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you completely on that. And I'm real shocked as well because Ishan Kishan tends to struggle against pacers who ball in excess of 145. And that's why you should have hit him right there. With Lockie Ferguson with a new ball,
Yeah.
make Ishan Kishan very uncomfortable, and then he would have given away his wicket. Now today you served it on the platter for Ishan Kishan. Someone like Shardul Thakur or Thakur kind of bowler is what Ishan Kishan really likes to play. And Umesh Yadav has not been looking good at all. I didn't mention last time also, he's not been in good rhythm, regardless of whichever surfaces he's playing on. He's looking completely out of sorts. He's missing out on the shape, and that's the main thing about Umesh Yadav. If he's not gonna get that, then Umesh Yadav is half the baller what he is.
I
Maybe
think the
that's what.
KKR management saw live in the last after the Sunrisers Hyderabad game, because we had spoken about Shardul Thakur being a better bowler in the power plays, but they forgot to listen to the entirety of the thing that you have to give him the ball based on pitch and conditions as well.
Yes,
I mean, not just
exactly.
hand him the ball and ask him to ball at 125, 130 to a bowler outside the off stump who is good
Yeah,
against.
that's why the
I
matchup
think they
matters
also
a
did not
lot.
probably catch. Yeah, I was just going to say they did not catch our fantasy side of things slightly before the toss, so I can understand probably why. But I think if they had watched that video as well, we did clearly speak about how Ishan Kishan might struggle against someone like Lockie Ferguson who balls at that kind of a pace. So
Yeah,
very surprised that that did not happen.
yeah, that was something which we did talk about time and
And
time again
honestly, I felt
in that
Umesh
previous
Yadav
episode.
was going to come back to form in this game, because you saw Arjun Tendulkar, who had a debut, bowl beautifully, was swinging the ball in the first 2 overs. Even the Venkatesh Iyer hit him for 2 boundaries in that final 2 balls. Cameron Green bowled a decent first spell. On the other hand, the KKR bowlers had absolutely no swing. I mean, Umesh Yadav coming into ball,
I
getting
mean,
torn.
now you have two options, right? Sandeep Bhai, whatever I see from the squad, you have a Harshit Rana, who's a decent medium pace bowler, and a Vaibhav Arora. I think Vaibhav Arora had a good stint last time around with Punjab, if I'm not wrong. Uh, you reckon he can get a nod ahead? He can swing the ball up front a little bit, maybe give Umesh Yadav a little bit of rest. I know he's your main Indian bowler, but sometimes bringing in a youngster can do a lot of good for you. Vaibhav Arora has got a tremendous in swinger. He has troubled a lot of batters previously in IPL as well. Maybe try in a Harshit Rana or Vaibhav Arora and see how it goes, because maybe that could be a possible change. If they can pick you up wickets up front, maybe a couple of them or a wicket at least, that's going to really release the pressure for Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti to come and operate.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Harshit Rana is not a bad option. I mean, Harshit Rana, I think, was one of the substitutes in today's game as well. They are sticking to Shreyas Sharma in the department of substitutes. Bowled beautifully today. But Harshit Rana will be a very interesting call. Vaibhav Arora as well will be good for reckoning as well.
Or
But
else you
first
can
of
get
all,
Kulwant Kejrolia as well. Kulwant Kejrolia is also a
yeah, Kulwant
decent bowler.
Kejrolia did play for Rajasthan Royals, if I'm not wrong, for 1 or 2 games, and
Yeah.
then he did a decent enough job. So I think he'll be a good. I mean, anybody in place of Umesh Yadav right now, because he's not looking in the best of forms. Whoever is bowling well in the nets will get the nod. I think Harshit Rana is up the pecking order when it comes to a Vaibhav Barora or a Kejrolia. But having said that, just get Loki Ferguson out of the team, because you are not using Loki Ferguson is not your death overs bowler, because he does not have, over the last 4 or 5 months, we said it in the last live, he has been traveling, he has no confidence to bowl in the last 4 or 5 overs, and he looked frustrated today when he came in to bowl that 17th or 18th over when the match was already gone, and he absolutely looked flustered, because you are not giving him enough opportunities with the ball. You are using him towards the later half of the innings in the death overs. I understand that you need a death overs bowler, but then get in a David Wiese, because that will strengthen your batting. That won't have you bring
I
in a.
don't think getting David Villa is of any good at this point because you don't need a batter. You need a
No,
bowler
I
and
I
you need
mean
an
you
out and
need
out
a
ball.
player. I mean you need a player so that you don't have to get in a Shardul Thakur in at number 5 in a matchups. You can have a Rinku Singh playing at number 5, so that you have this
Yeah.
extended tail. And David Wiese at the top of the order. I think he's a very good new ball bowler, and I think he has done the job with the towards the later end for Namibia in plenty of occasions. I mean, he
Yeah, he's
might
done it
go
in
for runs.
PSL as well. He's done that in PSL as well. I think
I
he's
mean,
doing
I
a
won't
good
consider
better also.
PSL as my trademark. I will consider the international stage where he bowls for Namibia. He did a great job in the T20 World Cup as well,
Yeah.
with Freiling bowling well in tandem with Freiling. So I think I'll use him in the death overs instead of a Loki Ferguson, underconfident Loki Ferguson who's not even playing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Having said that, I think that's about it from today's analysis. We've covered both the matches, and thank you all for joining. It's been an hour since we are into the live, and it was a wonderful day of cricket. Number one, Surya Kumar Yadav is back in form. That's good news for Indian team fans, and Sanju Samson has been Sanju Samson played a blinder of a knock as well. So Rajasthan Royals go on top of the table. And of course, we have Kolkata Knight Riders in iffy position, and Mumbai Indians have gotten off. They are motoring slowly. Thank you, guys.
Kolkata Knight
And
Riders are sliding down the table. I mean, now they are at number 7, number 8.
yeah, I mean, this is
But
something which
two
we
wins
did
out of 5,
expect
yeah.
out of Kolkata Knight Riders, but then you'll hope you need to make certain bowling decisions. When that's been Kolkata Knight Riders' biggest downfall this season, and at least they would want to play on surface which aid a little bit of turn as well. So, guys, do not forget to make your teams on Boom 11 and for the coming matches. Tomorrow is a big game. It's a Southern Derby. RCB take on Chennai Super Kings. So we'll be back with the preview before the match, and of course we'll be giving you the fantasy side of things as well, and also try out our predictor feature because you can predict what's going to be Dhoni's score tomorrow, who's going to be man in the match tomorrow, whether it's going to be CSK who's going to triumph or it's going to be RCB who's going to triumph. So an interesting day of
Who
cricket
is going
tomorrow.
to win Hearts tomorrow is going to be a very interesting thing to see, because we have seen the trend lately that Chennai Super Kings are content with winning Hearts, and also RCB have this ritual for 15 years now of winning Hearts.
And that's also because I think if
Winning hearts,
tomorrow RCB
see,
can't beat
sometimes,
CSK, then I don't know
winning
what
hearts
to
is
do.
important
I
as well.
genuinely not don't know what to do. CSK is going to be playing with a B team tomorrow. It's not definitely
It's
their
not
main
B
team.
team.
Half our
How
team
many of your
injured.
first players
So
are
RCB
injured?
cannot
How
beat
many
us
of your first players?
tomorrow.
See, he's taking excuses already. How many of your first players are injured? What? Yeah, most of them are from reserves who are injured. So it's not a big deal. And Deepak Chahar looked
No,
out of sorts anyways. And Dhoni is
Ben
going to
Stokes is
play.
injured.
Nonetheless, I think we are going to have a very interesting
Do,
live tomorrow. A very interesting live tomorrow with whatever the outcome of the game would be.
Yeah, very interesting live. So, guys, join us tomorrow at 11:30 as always, and also before the game at 6 we'll be going live. So do not forget to join us there as well. Take care, all of you. See you all very soon. And yeah, Sharat S says RCB. Absolutely, I agree with you, Sharat S. RCB is gonna get it right. Isala Cup Namde. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. Sorry. Let me just stop that right there. Bye bye.
Good
Have a
advice.
good time.